Where am I? Kemono Friends. I love that show. Let's talk about Kemono Friends. So it's the winter season of 2017, and just like any other season, there's a whole new batch of shows trying to become noted by a whole wide range of anime watchers. Kemono Friends one of them, a multimedia franchise that saw no success at all, featuring anthropomorphic versions of animals and created by Yoshizaki Mine, who's more well known for Keroro Gunso, Sergeant Frog. It had a 2-volume long manga that didn't really gather any attention and a mobile game which featured the main story for Kemono Friends, released in March 2015 only to close down on December 2016, before the show even aired in January of 2017. It seemed as if the show would simply follow the path of its predecessors. And so the season begins, and not surprisingly, Kemono Friends is seen as a joke. The cheap looking 3D CG animation doesn't help either. To the surprise of no one, it was fated to fall into obscurity. But then, something happened. Episode 2 ends, and some, but not many, had some sort of epiphany, mainly caused by the ending. For a show featuring animal girls this cheerful to the point of feeling it sucks the grey matter right out of your head, the ending is quite bizarre. A monochromatic presentation of this abandoned park with these glass panels of the series characters. It's quite eerie. It's quite mysterious. It's quite interesting. And now the show's gathering the attention of more people. Despite the closure of the game, it stands on its own. Despite the animation, it's quite charming. Despite its concept, it's intriguing. Despite everything, Kemono Friends is fun. So the season ends, and the show is a huge success. The finale trends worldwide on Twitter, the most discussed show on the website that season, by a large margin. It's a chart topper on Amazon sales. The guidebooks are selling like hotcakes. Merchandising, selling by the buckets. Merchandising, selling buckets. No, really? No one expected the show to be this popular, so we didn't prepare much at time's notice. The best we could do was to get a bunch of buckets and slap the Kemono Friends identifier on them, and it sold out. Every episode of the show gets to the top list of paid episodes on Nico Nico. Zoo collaborations happen. Mizaki Park in Osaka, Nonhoi Park in Aichi, Tobu Zoo in Saitama. The series was responsible in raising the attendance of the latter by 23.6% on that year's Golden Week in comparison to last year's. A penguin falls in love with a cutout of one of the characters. Your show is now even more popular. Kemono Friends fever is taking everyone, and people want more, so the director delivers with a new short. People are so happy they almost forgot North Korea was testing missiles. Stage play comes out, character song album comes out, and of course, that one is a chart topper. Season 2 gets confirmed, and the director is very excited to keep doing it. From the very start he was. The alarm was a thing, I guess. Episode 1 of Kemono Friends becomes the most viewed anime episode on Nico Nico. By June of 2019, it was the 6th most viewed video on the whole website, with over 14 million views. North Korea is testing missiles again, except this time it actually flew over Japan. Good job, Kimi, you dumbass! Every news channel stop everything that you're doing and report on it. Except for TV Tokyo, re-airing the season finale of Kemono Friends is more important. And then the commercial deals started coming in. One short for the Japanese Horse Racing Association, aka JRA. A short that was played on the beginning of each day of Anime's Summer Live 2017, the biggest anime song music festival of the year, where Double 2 Biscuits, Peppa Poo and Masayoshi Oishi performed as a second act of the festival, only after an explosive surprise opening act, where Goto Yuko, Chihara Minori, and Hirano Aya performed Hari Hari Yukai for the first gathering of the SOS done in 11 years. A commercial for Nissin's Donbei Kitsune Udon. And let's be honest, this is big because it's goddamn Nissin. I live on the other side of the world and I can go to the market and I'll find something Nissin there. And they announced a new mobile game, Kemono Friends Pavilion. Everything was going great for the franchise and everyone was on cloud 9. But not everything good lasts forever. 25 of September 2017. Director Tatsuki states in a tweet that he has been removed as the director of the Kemono Friends sequel. He gets 14,000 retweets in 3 minutes, almost 100,000 in 30. The reaction's not surprising, we all know the story. 10 people, 500 days, budget so limited, the wheels on the bus didn't even spin on the opening. It was the biggest Cinderella story this industry ever saw, carried by the hard work of a very small but passionate team, who worked for almost 2 years on this project in a tiny apartment. Most of its success is attributed to the studio, Yao Yorozu, and more specifically to the director, who also animated, scripted, and storyboarded the show. The reaction was immediate. Director Tatsuki trending, Kadokawa trending, Kadokawa second tag trending, tags about the second season trending, Konami and Hideo Kojima trending by association because of Kojima's falling out with the company back in 2015. People wanted answers, and an answer was given the next day. They announced that the studio quit after conflict of interests surrounding making content without the approval of the committee. People didn't buy it. If that was the case, there were 4 suspects to what led to this. The animated shorts. The animal short is pretty obvious wasn't the case, considering they had a Kemono Friends live in it. The JRA short and the Nissin short were the next suspects. If the studio was making money out of commercials without the approval of the committee, that would be pretty bad. But that wasn't the case. Both companies had to release statements confirming they had deals approved by Kadokawa. The last one is the Basuteki short, Kemono Friends 12.1, the short that they made for free, on their own time and money, for the fans. If this truly is the reason, they punished the director for making the fans happy. And that's not a good look. There wasn't any copyright conflict as well, since the short's still up on YouTube and Nico Nico. And to top things off, fans dug up a tweet by Yoshizaki Mine, the owner of the AP, stating he gave permission to the director to create content freely. The general public don't believe this statement to be true or in good faith. They only took the whole thing as higher-ups wanting control of the property, now that it has become popular. At the cost of the people who made it popular. Backlash against the company starts rising, so they follow things up with a live stream where the voice actresses try to mellow down the controversy. Except they had nothing to do with it. This was seen as a blatant attempt of higher-ups to calm things up using the voice actresses, since the fans love them. And it was a big shot in the foot. People are even angrier now, in what was called the Seiyu Shield. In the blink of an eye, the miracle has become a nightmare. It got so bad the CEO of the company had to step in to see what the hell was going on, which was a beacon of hope regarding the firing, as negotiations were open again. But it ultimately failed, and so the studio was not to go back to work on Kemono Friends. Winter Comic Cat 93, December 29, 2017. The Circle Irodori, composed of director Tatsuki, animation director Iza, and art director Yuko, announced a new TV project, later revealed to be Keurikusa. And on late 2018, the staff of Kemono Friends 2 is finally revealed. And in a twist of fate, 2 years after the airing of Kemono Friends 2 and Kemono would air on the winter season of 2019. On one side I have the side of the studio, now presenting their own original show. And on the other side I have the side of the franchise, where a show that's done by a whole new team, carrying the weight of 2 years of controversy on their back. This is the culmination of everything that has happened. This is the Kemono Friends aftermath. Well, I don't think I should be staying here. I don't think I belong in this place. So for now, I will be searching for home. Off I go! And while I'm at it, let's talk about Kemono Friends 2. The first episode features a new lead character, which is not so surprising. Mainly because the protagonist of the first season, Kaban, was an original character created by director Tatsuki. The kid's called Kiruru because of the sound his stomach makes when he presents himself. It's kind of an equally stupid name choice to bag, just because she's wearing a kaban.
이건 뭐야? 가방인 것 같은데요. 가방? 뭔가 힌트가 됐나요? 아니, 잘 모르겠어.
Now, the first thing you notice on the show, the animation. Very choppy, in a weird way. Because it seems they done the full motion and then they cut the amount of frames for no discernible reason. But the biggest issue regarding that is that there are many scenes where it's not. So they keep alternating between choppy animation, smooth animation, and it gets pretty distracting. The animation can be divided into the good, the bad, and the ugly. The good is when the animation's pretty smooth and the motions are nice. It doesn't happen that much. The bad is when it's smooth but the motions are stiff, robotic even. Kinda like an early experimental music video. This also doesn't happen that much. And the ugly is the choppy animation, which makes most of the series. The episode also shows two changes towards ceruleans, the main enemies of the franchise. The first one is that now they're shaped as everyday objects, and the second one is that they're pathetically weak. Servo appears and punches one to death at a random spot, which is weird, because the concept of a weak spot presented in season 1 is just gone. And because Servo is a cat, and having her not using her claw is a weird choice. But at least they kept the subtle ear twitch every time we hear something quiet or far away. That was always a nice touch. So the main cast of the show becomes Kiruru, the human kid, Servo, the face of the franchise, and Karakao, Servo's best friend in earlier iterations. They very quickly acknowledge Kiruru to be human, and their objective is to find Kiruru's home. And so, we're going visiting places depicted on his drawings, and meeting new friends on the way. The big question that we all have, of course, is what happened between Servo and Kaban after season 1? Servo reminisces about spending a lot of time with a human before, and we get to see the shadow of Kaban, but she also says she doesn't quite remember. The implication is that Servo got eaten by a cerulean, and that caused the separation of the golden duo of the first season. An off-screen tragedy. Although at this point it's not a confirmation, she didn't fully forget, she just kinda remembers. It could just be that a long time has passed. Also they do this. Oh, my heart! Stop! Don't do that! It's a reference to a catchphrase from season 1. Paying homage is fine. Paying homage is nice. But after everything that happened, they are stepping on thin ice. And they're stepping it down hard on piranha-infested waters. They should be careful about this. But actually, who cares? The friends are cute. This episode's friend is the eastern spot-billed duck, and upon learning they're searching for a place, she takes upon herself to direct them to it. But oh no! There's a crevice on the floor and they have to jump over it. And that's dangerous! You know, in one way, this can be seen as a very infantilized conflict in comparison to the ones in Season 1. But it can also be seen as very lovely, as we're working around the idea of a mama duck leading her ducklings to safety.
We did it! We did it! We did it!
And we all know about ducklings. They're fucking dumb. They fall into a hole, they're dead. So her attitude is pretty justifiable.
溝って大したことないじゃない。大したことあります。落ちて一人でもいなくなったら一大事ですから。
And sweet! Another new characters presented on the episode are the giant armadillo and the giant pangolin, which seems to be having a similar role as Fennec and Raccoon from Season 1. And in a similar fashion, they're chasing after the human. The reason for that will be revealed later. The main group reaches their destination, and despite it not being Kiruru's home, he gives Duck a drawing as a thank you sign, which is great. A drawing depicting the moment, a memory between the people involved. That's rather lovely. And they head towards the next area. They get attacked by a cerulean, but they're saved by a mysterious friend. And so the episode ends. Not a bad episode. It's not amazing. It's halfway there. It was fine. And it sets a few mysteries to look forward to being answered. Episode 2 is one of the weakest episodes of the season. Searching for the location portrayed on the next drawing, the group meets Giant Panda and Red Panda. Giant Panda gimmick is that she talks slowly and sleeps all the time, so she can't give proper directions. And Red Panda's gimmick is that she has an inferiority complex, so she takes upon herself to guide them to the location portrayed on the drawing. Except she doesn't know where it is, so she just takes them places at random. This debacle ends with Red Panda breaking down and Kiruru comforting her, because she had the intention of helping, and that's what matters. And honestly, that's bullshit. She didn't want to help. She wanted to be seen as helpful. She didn't know how to get the place. She wasted their time hoping that by chance they would get there. And it works because turns out the place was just by where they started. And so they rebuilt this playground that's surprisingly well taken care of for something that survived 2 time skips. They play with it a bit. Servo does the exact same thing Otter did in Season 1. Kiruru thanks Red Panda for helping, which kinda changes things from it's intention that matters, except not really, into all is well when it ends well. Giant Panda reaches them and comes to play, but ceruleans destroy the playground, and in a fit of rage she destroys all of them at ease. Wow, cerulean's really pathetic compared to Season 1, huh? And after confirming this wasn't Kiruru's home, they head towards the location of the next drawing. This was a very weak episode. The animation's still pretty wonky, I don't think the message was well delivered, and honestly it's all around pretty boring. Oh yeah, the opening's fantastic and the ending's fine I guess, but I'll talk about those in detail later. Episode 3 is more interesting, taking place in some sort of building by the sea. The friends featured in this episode are bottlenose dolphin and Californian sea lion, and their performance animals. Their characters play it in such a way that every time they do a trick, they're supposed to receive a reward. So they take them to the middle of the sea where the stage portrayed on the drawing is. Except it's now sunken, so they find this diving helmet thing. Okay, we can use that, I know what that is, I know how to use it, just despite just being a kid. And so they head down there, which should be the place these two used to perform in the past, when they were animals. They have to go back to the surface because... You gotta remember that. This ocean thing is important for later. So back in the boat we're all like, okay, this isn't my home, take us back. Yeah, sure, after you pay us. I got no money. What? No money? Here! You can't stay on this boat until you die, we don't care. And that's apparently also a problem because Karakao is afraid of water. This is all solved with Kiruru concocting some makeshift show props that those two can't help but to be excited with, since it instinctively reminds them of the days they were animals who put on shows for human audiences to enjoy. So they play with it for a while and accept these as rewards for taking them to the stage. And so they get back, Kyururu gives them a drawing, and they head towards the next place. This episode's also fine, nothing more, nothing less, but it's interesting because it shows there's something wrong happening in the ocean. It also shows that Fena-kun 2.0 are working for someone, so those are things to look forward to later.
待ちますよ。待つのは慣れているので。
Okay, before I talk about the next episode, episode 2, 3, and 4 had recaps on the beginning of the episode. Don't do that. Why would you do that? Why would you have this in an episodic show? That's stupid. So upon heading to the location of the next drawing, they meet Aardwolf. Aardwolf is searching for a new home, and Campo Flicker, who's a returnee character from season 1 but not confirmed to be the same one, acts like a real estate agent, except we're free, so it's pretty real estate. So they go around seeing homes that aren't good at all. Servo has a Vietnam flashback. And they end up not finding anything decent at all. The highlight of the episode really is when Common Vampire Bat appears. She has 30 seconds of screen time and she's by far the most interesting thing on the episode. So rain comes and they take shelter inside a cave. Man, this cave is really boring. So Kyururu rips apart his drawing and decides to play puzzle until the rain passes by. And so they have fun. Maybe. I don't know. They complete 70% of the puzzle in 10 seconds. And then they start screaming at each other.
じゃあその下はそれ取ってもらえます？いや、こっち押さないでくださいよ。もうせっかくごめん、私にやらせて。ダメ。
Doesn't look like fun to me. The rain ends and Campo Flicker identifies the location of Kyururu's drawing. Aardwolf takes a liking towards the place and decides to live in a cave. And so that problem was solved. Surprise, motherfucker! Those two catched up, and goddamn am I surprised they did it. I thought we were going to do the same thing as season 1 where they only meet up on the end of the show. They demand Kyururu to come with them. And that's when it's revealed that...
もしかして私たちの邪魔をするつもりですか？ならば相手になってやる。来い。行こう、キュルルちゃん。
They're fucking idiots! And I really like that. I like them. I like them. The episode ends with them heading to the next place. And Campo Flicker saying she saw a human in the jungle before. Campo Flicker in this episode was like, I run a lodge. Like the one from season 1. And I seen a human before.
私も以前一度だけこのジャングルの近くで見たことがあります。本当?
Like the one from season 1. And you can't help but ask yourself, are you the same one? But they never really give you anything. It's like they're teasing you. And that's a little bit annoying, not gonna lie. So when I first watched episode 4, I thought it was one of the most boring episodes of the season. And after I rewatched it, my opinion didn't change much. But I still think it might be one of the best episodes of the season solely because of its ideas. And what are these ideas? So first of all, this is Brazil. Kinda. Let me explain. The episode actually starts with them not being able to keep riding their bus-like thing because the track is broken down. So they're greeted with a new lucky beast to guide them. And God honest, this sombrero and poncho wearing Lucky Bee hit me when my guard was down. Because when I first watched it, I just started laughing at this. It was the first time I honestly laughed at the show. In his own words, he is... So basically they ended up on the part of the park that represents South America. I love that they use a Mexican version of a Lucky Beast for this because Mexico's in North America. Ignoring that slip up. The drawing is very hard to understand. But in the end of the episode, we learn that they're termite mounds, inhabited by bioluminescent beetle larvae that causes a phenomenon unique to the Brazilian Cerrado biome that's better seen at night and after rain. since that's the best moment the larvae comes out to lure passing insects for feeding. Now for the friends. The campo flicker, or pica-pau do campo in Portuguese, is a bird that can be seen in such biome, and whose meals mainly consists of ants and termites. She does feel like an adequate friend to have on this episode. But the more interesting one is the aardwolf, because the aardwolf is an animal from the African savanna. And I don't know what you think, and I don't know you, but the African continent is shaped similarly to Brazil, but we're not quite the same place. You know what I'm saying? But the aardwolf is still a very adequate animal for this episode, very much so. First, aardwolves are insectivore animals who mainly eat termites. Second, they're nocturnal animals, which is the optimal time to enjoy the bioluminescent termite mounds. And lastly,
実は私も住むところを探してたんですけど、なかなかいいところが見つからなくて。だからって遠くまで来すぎでしょ。でもここは私たちが住んでいるところとなんとなく似てるし。
It's very interesting how despite them theoretically moving this animal from one continent to another, it still feels like she fits right in because of the unique qualities of this animal. From the African savanna to the Brazilian cerrado, that's also known as the Brazilian savanna. This episode wasn't really good, no, but the idea behind it is fucking fantastic. They saw this interesting natural phenomena and they pieced together this puzzle where all the pieces fit together perfectly. And I love it. I don't quite love the presentation of the episode because I think everything else feels bland. It's a snooze fest. I couldn't get into it, but I still respect the shit out of this episode. So in the ending of every episode, they have these lovely little animations that put characters from the first season on Albaca's cafe to do a little skit to present the topic of the next episode. Peppa Poo receives a black and white dessert, which represents the panda, and Hururu mix them together and create some sort of harmony, which represents the two pandas. They put salt in a cup of water to represent the ocean, featuring Jaguar and Otter. The blackboard presents them building the bridge. They bring back the episode 5 duo for the episode where the main topic is houses. The blackboard shows the moment Servo strikes down Beaver's logs. It's all very charming. And on this episode, they bring back Moose and Lion, who are fighting with each other to anticipate the next episode where there will be two groups fighting each other. And the blackboard shows the paper bats and the balloons used on the battle of episode 6. You know, it's kinda weird how these blackboard reference things that happen on those episodes, but they never portrayed that character. Anyways, moving on. Episode 5. It doesn't start with a flashback this time. Good job. Caracal notes that she never seen Lucky B speaking before in an extremely underwhelming way.
確かにラッキーさんが話しているとこなんか見たことなかったわね。キュルルと会うまではラッキービーストは人をガイドするのが仕事だ。だから話すのも人だけだ。
Yes, I only speak to humans, but let me phrase this sentence in a way that I'm definitely not speaking to the human. This is the second time this is noted, the first time being.
ご注意ください。あ、ラッキーさん、あいつ喋るの？
That's it. That's the scene. It's kinda sad that the whole Lucky Beast is speaking only to human subplot that was so notable in season 1 was degraded to an uninteresting passing thought by acknowledging Kururu as human from the get-go.
そうか、もともとそうなんだっけ。
But what's interesting is Servo's line here,
あ、ラッキーさん。
as it acts as more evidence that she haven't really lost her memories, since she knows that the voice comes from Lucky Beast. And this is the first drawing that already has a friend in it. Okay, got these small nitpicks out of the way. This episode features 5 friends. The saltwater crocodile and spectacle caiman duo, and the leopard and black leopard duo. They're fighting for territory, and I guess the joke here is that since leopards stay on trees and crocodiles stay on water, they don't really have to fight. But despite that, they still follow the orders of another friend. And you hear that weird sound that she does?
何か聞こえる。え、本当だ。近づいてくる。
That's the sound caused by a gorilla when they clap their chest. And this is another interesting detail of the show. Sound. They implemented the sound of animals when presenting friends. This should happen almost every time one is introduced. Close enough. This happens for all the series, and it's another small but charming thing. Apparently some voice actresses were chosen on how similar their voices are to the animals. Dolphins' voice actors have a squeaky voice, such as a dolphin would have. Duck has a rasping voice when she cries, like a quack of a duck. And the soundtrack's fine, it complements the show fine, and is all around likable with the exception of one of them, but that's for later. Also, there's still dubstep.
Oh man, it's the dubstep again. Blub, 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 blub.
Before I get back to the episode, you might have realized that I haven't talked much about the main characters, if any at all. The reason for that is that I don't really like them. Kirudo is a good child, or at least he's portrayed as a good child. But he's a boring character, damn! He acts like a kid and not like a funny kid. The word that comes to my mind is behaved. Nothing interesting is done with the character, and it's just not entertaining to watch. Hell, the most interesting thing about the character is why he has heterochromia, and they don't explain that. Servo is brain dead. It doesn't even feel like she needs to be here. It feels like she exists to say catchphrases. But of course she has to be here despite how natural it is. She's the face of the franchise. Karaka's my favorite character out of the three, despite being a stick in the mud. Or rather, it's because she's kind of a stick in the mud. It feels like she has an actual personality. Also, they have really poor synergy. They don't really talk much to each other in meaningful ways. It feels like Servo and Karaka are just guides to Kiruru. And they are! The thing is, Servo was Kaban's guide on season 1. Remember? Gaido, Gaido, Sabana Gaido. But the first episode alone does a great job at creating a meaningful relationship and even characterizing them. Kaban was a very gloomy girl. She could barely look at Servo in the eyes throughout the episode. And by the end of it, she ended up a little bit braver. And by episode 5 you could definitely say they are friends. Not in the sense of Kemono Friends, but in the sense of I'm your friend, buddy. I'm your buddy, pal. I'm your pal, friend. Okay, pause this for a second. I thought this whole time, the dude said pal instead of guy. What the fuck is wrong with me? Pal is not guy. Shit. Fuck. Dick. I really don't like the new main trio, and that's one of the main reasons why I'm finding these episodes meh, or fine, or just boring. Anyways, back to the episode. This episode is a really weird one. Kiruru presents himself as a human, and as soon as he does, they start laughing, because they believe humans are scary.
人ってのはな、あんたみたいに小さくて弱そうな生き物ちゃうねん。そうですよ。もっと強くてすっごく怖いんです。そんなことないと思うけど。
Their leader talks to Kiruru, and she's tired of all the fighting, and is just kind of pulling a facade. Kinda like a certain character from season 1. And she wants to use Kiruru to scare them. Boo! So they stop fighting. But of course Kiruru doesn't know how to do that. So they gotta pretend he's scary. I hate it. I hate this scene. Servo and Karakao have to pretend they're scared. So they start doing this. At first it was uncomfortable, but it goes on forever. And then it becomes annoying. Oh my god, shut the fuck up! They kind of fall for it, but now they're interested in Kiruru's human powers, and the conflict escalates. So he decides to solve the issue with paper sumo. I guess. And then it happens. The friend from the first episode appears again, but now that we can see her properly, we notice that she's not quite friend. Lee. And as soon as Kyururu's about to be attacked, it happens. The last segment seems to reference the issue with Servo. Margay wants to take African Wild Dog to work with her, and Alpaca wants her to stay on the cafe. Servo was guiding Kyururu, but Kaban have reappeared. So a choice has to be made. Is she staying with Kyururu or with Kaban? Okay, I know this part's more serious, but first of all, don't throw fire into the forest, you dumbass, what the fuck? Servo just did that at the ending of season 1 because they knew the big dog Cerulean was attracted to it. Do you believe tigers are attracted to fire? Kaban wasn't even there to see it, she was a jawbreaker at that moment. This is a reference for the sake of a reference, and it's a goddamn stupid one. Also, after they run away, this lucky beast teleports from the hands of Spectacle Kaiman into Kyururu's bag. Alright, back to the episode. So Kaban takes the trio on the good old Japari bus. Okay, she forgot. Oh, it's over. It's goddamn over. She takes them to her home. I'm sorry, what did you just do? Did you just fucking shelve Lucky-san? Okay. Let me tell you something. Lucky beasts were the cute little helper robots that roamed the park. We saw Pirate Lucky Beast, Mexican Lucky Beast, Rambo Lucky Beast, and they're nice. But they're gimmicks. Lucky-san, the season 1 Lucky Beast. Bosu, he was a character. At some point he even started calling Kaban by her name, indicating intimacy.
Kaban, ちょっと様子を見てきていいかな? わかりました.
He was an unreliable sidekick that showed to be reliable when truly needed. He understood Kaban was about to risk her life and sent a distress signal to the park before she even started her plan. And just like Servo sacrificed herself for them, and Kaban sacrificed herself for Servo, Lucky-san sacrificed itself for them. Kemono Friends wasn't about the adventures of Servo and Kaban. It was about Servo, Kaban, and Lucky-san. What I'm trying to say here is don't treat Bosu like this. So they start discussing the tiger friend that was causing a rampage. It's a rare condition that happens the moment when an animal becomes a friend. It's kinda like an incomplete transformation, as you can see by her tiger paws. And they're called beasts. We also learned that a long time ago, humans tried to control these beasts, as you can see by the shackles on her wrists. Oh look, it's the owls. We're back. Okay, so they drink tea and they head to the laboratory. Say the line, Servo. We're researching Sandstar, which is this mysterious material that's one of the main components of the series that I haven't explained before. It comes from volcanoes, and when it touches an animal, that animal becomes part human.
でも、フレンズの姿だとちょっと勝手が違うみたい。この体ならではの歌い方があるんじゃないかしら。
And introduce Cerulean, and that's what becomes Ceruleans, which is something that it seems it was introduced on the 6th guidebook. It conflicts with the idea that Sandstar touching inorganic material is what caused Ceruleans, but I don't think I mind this too much. The idea alone that Sandstar touching anything inorganic becomes Ceruleans kinda whack, and Kemono Friends is an evolving franchise after all. It just makes things very confusing for anime viewers. We're also concerned that there's a cerulean infestation going on, but there aren't active volcanoes around. Dinner time! We got a little bit chubby, eh? Too much gourmet in the life, huh? So is a spicy food gag. Exactly the same as season 1. Part of the owl's hair is missing here. Out of nowhere, Kyururu just drops a bomb.
もしセルリアンに食べられちゃったら どうなっちゃうのかなって。
Yeah, if they become animals again, lose their memories, if they become a friend again.
そっか、なんだか寂しいね。そうだね。
Sleep time! Kyururu has a nightmare and sees a ship cerulean. And because of this nightmare, which is a dream, we get to learn what is the thing causing the ocean to be in a bad mood. Underground volcanoes. The ceruleum is coming from underground volcanoes, says Kyururu. But there isn't such a thing as an underground volcano, says the owls. Yes, there is. It says on this book that I found in your laboratory that none of you free researchers ever bothered looking at this whole time. I saw this all in a dream and that's how I knows it.
海にも火山があるとは知らなかったのです。
You gotta be kidding me, dude. Okay. The owls drag Kyururu to get some sensor in the water, and the ceruleum in the laboratory becomes a copy of the bus. They get the Sandstar, Servo and Karakal punches the ceruleum to death, they come back, it's time to go. Kaban gives Kyururu Lucky Sun, and so they part ways again. Did you know that the storyboard for this scene got leaked? But people didn't really believe it, because they didn't thought we would bring back Kaban, and they didn't thought we would bring her back just to separate her again. But what happened? The slight trembling eyes of Kaban as she asks Karakal to take care of Servo, who doesn't even remember her. It's a pretty strong scene, really. It seems that it's trying to say that it's time to move on. The good days are over, and it's time for the next step to be taken. Or how I would like to say it, please! Please forget about what happened, please! They didn't forget it. It's the beginning of the end. Now seems like an appropriate time to talk about the Nico Nico scores. At the end of every episode live stream on Nico Nico, there's a poll to vote how much you like the episode. Voting 1 means you love it, voting 5 means you hate it, and 2, 3, and 4 are the in-between. Kemono Friends 2 didn't start favorably, but it had its fair share of people supporting them, and a lot of people sitting on the fence. The first episode was the most favorable one, with 31% of the viewers loving the episode and 17% saying they hate it, 52% in between. The following episodes 2 to 4 had around 20% loving it and 30% hating it, but they still had 50% in between. And then, episode 5 hits. Kaban is an idol. She's not simply a character. At this point she's a representation of the miracle, of the fun times, of the good times before business meddling. And touching the idol is dangerous. Episode 5. 20% love it, 24% in between, 56% hate it. Episode 6. The confirmation of the off-screen tragedy and the second separation. 10% love it, 18% in between, 72% hate it. Shouldn't have touched the idol. Alright, so after that shit, there was a new ending. I don't really have anything to say about the song, I'm not that interested in it. But what the fuck is this? The whole thing is these 3 models coming to focus with a cube floating on top of the screen. And boy does it look like shit! Episode 7 is another standalone episode. The story about this episode is about Pronghorn, who wants to race Cheetah. Pronghorn doesn't quite want to race to win, as much as she wants to improve her running. This story is based on the theory that Pronghorns grew to be the second fastest land animal, only after the cheetah, because it evolved its running abilities by running away from predators, such as the now extinct American cheetah. I think this is my favorite episode of the show, because of one simple factor.
プロングホン様、ちょっといいですか？あいつ、きっとあなたに負けるのが怖いだけですよ。なんですって？違うんだったら勝負してみろ。
This bird, this fuck fucking bird is the worst. I don't know if you have realized yet, but she's a greater roadrunner. And yes, her design is based on the good old Warner Brothers Roadrunner. If the literal beep written on her shirt wasn't telling enough, her whole character is to be condescending to anyone who isn't Pronghorn. And I'm going to guess she's only on this episode because having a predator and a prey racing on the desert really reminded the writers of the good old Wile E. Coyote and the Roadrunner cartoon. And I'm going to guess her entire character was based on how they got her to say beep beep.
Oi, どうした? ビビってんのか? はあ? やめるんなら今のうちだぜ.
She's such a piece of shit. Okay now, this is epic. Before I finish talking about this episode, I want to talk about the eye catches. Those small segments that play before and after commercial breaks. For animal footage, Kemono Friends 2 got deals with National Geographic, Dobut's Peace, an animal variety show that had collabed with the franchise before, and Darwin ga Kita, another show that focuses more on capturing nature as it is. They're fantastic. They got beautiful, high quality footage that showcases the animals we're talking about. And let's be honest, that's much better than Season 1 eye catches by default. I'm not saying Season 1 eye catches were bad. They were doing what they could, but you can't really top the real thing. But there's still something Season 1 did better with the eye catches in my opinion. And that was getting people directly involved with the animals to talk about them. Season 2 most of the times have Uchida Aya narration as she plays Mirai, the park guide from the original game, with sometimes having guests such as Higeji, the mascot of Darwin ga Kita, and Sakamoto Chika, well known for being Agumon, representing the Dobut's Peace show since she was a narrator there. The only time you seem to get an actual professional is when they bring back the crew from Dobut's Zukan, which was a live broadcast where Chikuta Ikuko, Tamura Kyoka, and Junstar Jun talked about animals. They're the voice actresses for Gentoo Penguin and Humboldt Penguin. And I don't really know who the guy is, but apparently he's popular in Nico Nico, I don't know. They bring back a man who had participated in the show before. They call him Sakamoto Sensei. He talks about the northern white-faced owl. Which one? It's kinda weird because she already had an eye-catch in Season 1. And 2, it's kinda weird because apparently he specializes in ants? Okay, no, wait, stop 1 second. Not just ants. If I'm getting this right, he mainly studies invasive species and pest control methods to protect the ecosystem, and a few other things in between. My point still stands though, because he still specializes in insects. It really feels like he's a cool and passionate dude, but why the owl though? Back in Season 1, you would have people from zoos and aquariums. You have people from the Fox Village. You have people from owl cafes. Hell, they got the guy who runs the Tsuchinoko Museum to do a part. Oh, look at this. Apparently the woman who spoke about the grey wolf wants to bring wolves back to Japan. There isn't wolves in Japan? Holy shit. She wants to kill a bunch of deer, dude. With wolves. And wild boars. Nice. And then you even have people from outside the country, such as Christine Ganon, biologist at the Wild Zoo of Saint Felicien, one of the largest zoos of Quebec, who talk about the red azel wolf. I mean fox, red azel fox. I mean fox. Wait, no, fuck me. It's azel, red fox. You have Lauren Buckingham from Big Cat Rescue, who comes to talk about the sand cat, and Sharon Matola, founder of the Belize Zoo, who comes to say that Margay is a very, very special cat. I'm not saying that having written Nat Geo narration ruins the eye catches, because of course it doesn't. I'm just saying that, what if we had the best of both worlds? Not like the last 3 minutes of what I said really matters that much for us, because like I said, they had deals. So if you watch this outside of Japan, then you don't get to see these segments, as they probably only had permission to rebroadcast this footage in Japan. So because of copyright issues, no animal facts for you, you dirty baka gaijin. Well, back to the episode. So considering Cheetah can't run for too long but is faster, they decide on a relay race between Pronghorn Roadrunner versus Cheetah, Servo, and Caracal. Bird also grows some, elbow blades. The race starts with Caracal versus Bird. This piece of shit starts flying. Oh no, Caracal is stuck in the biggest natural treadmill the world has ever seen. Bird gets passed by Cheetah. The momentum leads her to spin to one side and immediately spin towards the other. Right. And then the race keeps going. What the hell? How did you got here? Okay, so this is the track. Caracal ran 1/3 of the track and then came back to the tree on the start? What? Epic running animation, dude. So the race keeps going. Pronghorn passes Cheetah, cause Cheetah can't run for too long. And Cheetah passes to Servo. What? How is Bird on the tree now? She flew half of the track and she was exhausted by the end of it. What the fuck? Now Cheetah's here? She ran from the end of the first third to the start of the third third of the track. Are you telling me she ran back while exhausted to the tree before the other two finished the race? She's the character that was explicitly said throughout the episode that she can't run that much. Holy shit, Bird almost threw Kyururu down the tree. Okay, that's cute. Oh my god, Servo is so annoying in this episode. She doesn't shut up. It's just a non-stop barrage of meow 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 meow. Damn! Okay, so Servo starts running back the track and how the fuck are these people here now? So take a look at the track. The race started on this tree on the bottom. Kyururu was sitting there the whole time. And eventually the tire runners will go back to the tree, which is rather unbelievable, you know? And Servo and Pronghorn are inside a forest, which the only place on the track is this small patch of trees. You're telling me that a tired cheetah, a tired caracal, a tired roadrunner, a human kid ran all the way here when a servo cat and a pronghorn couldn't cover this small amount of land? I don't know you, but I'm having a hard time believing this. So they're running away from a cerulean. Pronghorn trips, cheetah saves her, and servo punches. And now everything is well and everyone is friends. Did my eyes trick me? Let's go back a second, please. The lower half of the background is practically the same. Dude, these are consecutive scenes, so they conveniently find a tractor. Cool. Why is it even here? Do they even have fuel? So the episode ends with Kyururu handing the usual drawing. But this time, the drawing is a bit different. It doesn't feature Roadrunner. By not drawing her and handing the picture directly to her, because of Roadrunner's reaction that can be misconstrued as a mix of shock and sadness, Kyururu is now seen as an evil, vindictive character. Of course that's not true, it's just a joke, but a very fitting one. This caused the soaring popularity of Greater Roadrunner. Some made fun of her because of her personality, and some others got attached to her because of it. People like me, you know? And she got popularly known as Gomasuri Kusobado, which should translate to ass-kissing shitbird. And some others were sympathetic. Fun fact, this scene got so notable, the voice actress herself ended up remaking the drawing to include Roadrunner. If you search on Pixiv and ignore the main characters and returnees from Season 1, she's the second friend with the most fanart on Season 2, by a pretty large margin. That's really the only reason why I like this episode, despite being so poorly made. Because of the reaction this bird caused, I don't even like the episode, I just like the bird. Apparently fans started calling Rodan Gomasuri Kusobado to the point it got the attention of the official Godzilla movie Twitter account. That was funny. And just at the end of 2019, the term Gomasuri Kusobado won first place in an online anime buzzword contest, with 25% of the votes, beating Shamiko ga Waruinda yo, a Machikado Mazoku meme. 7% love it, 16% in between, 77% hate it. It's a dead end! Oh no! It stopped! Oh yes! It has a gun! Oh no! I did it! Episode 8 is the Peppapu one. Remember? The one with the forced drama? Hell yeah, my favorite. Episode 8 was my least favorite one on the first season because it felt like such an outlier to the usually goofy atmosphere of the show. Oh, we're fighting. Oh, we're fighting for real. So episode 8 of season 2 is kinda the same. It also feels forced. The episode starts with them meeting Margay, and she reacts to Servo like...
あ、ねえ、ちょっと。はい、なんでしょうか。あ、聞きたいことがあるんだけど。あなた。
And honestly, stop! I know it's something small, but goddamn it's getting annoying. Does she remember? Is she the same as from season 1? Could be. Teehee. Maybe not. Teehee. Fuck off. Goddamn, dude. So there's going to be a Peppa Poo show like you would expect, but Margay wants to do a stage play before the show. So she holds auditions for parts on that play, and damn, look at that crowd. Damn, look at this copy-paste, dude. So the auditions are held, and all the participants suck. Hey, remember her?
アルパカさんのお茶飲まなかったからかしら。
Remember? I'll say it once, I'll say it again. Homages are nice, but after everything that happened, they're really not a good idea here. Also, Margay wants to do this play on the same day as the auditions. No fucking shit, things aren't going well. So the auditioners only came because there was a participation prize, and none of them planned to actually take part on the play. And that's when you start thinking that this episode is a bit weird, because Margay is really sad in this episode. She's constantly looking down, she goes to this dark part of the stage and sighs. She looks defeated. Season 1 Margay was a ray of excitement. She was a blob of passion. She was kinda pretty fucking gross. But she was happy. She became Peppa Poo's manager, and she was living the dream. This Margay, you just look at her, and you get depressed. So the preparations of the play aren't going well. Same day, like I said, with the main cast helping her. So people do things they shouldn't do it. And they're fucking right. But apparently, all work and no play makes Margay a really sad cat. Holy shit. The lack of facial animation makes this look like someone inside a mask dancing. It's goddamn uncanny, dude. We pretty much get a confirmation that this isn't the same Margay, since she says that before she became their manager, she used to watch them and was their #1 fan. Season 1 is similar, of course, but Margay has never seen Peppa Poo in action before, since that episode was their first show.
そうよ。記念すべき初回のイベント。3代目の立ち上げから見られるなんて、いい時代に生まれたわ。
We learned that Margay wants to make a play out of this book because apparently Peppa Poo's energy on stage reminded of the heroes on the book. Yeah, it's kinda dumb, but okay. And then she goes, things don't always work after all. I'll keep being sad. And Kidudu's like, you don't have to be sad, you work for PPP. And she's like, oh yeah, I guess I do, I'm not sad anymore. So it's time for the show, but Peppa Poo's late. They're being accosted by the two detectives. And just saying, if you have an idol character, don't have someone assault her in a serious manner. Apparently they think Kidudu is hiding as one of the Peppa Poo members.
騙されないぞ。さては人がメンバーのふりしてるんだな。
Where did that come from? I'm sorry? The episode literally starts with Arma, the armadillo, singing a Peppa Poo song. She knows who Peppa Poo is. Fuck!
さっきから何を楽しそうに歌ってるんですか？あれ？センちゃん知らないの？この歌ペパパの新曲だよ。
The audience is getting impatient, so they decide to do the play anyways. A human and a friend are playing around where they get attacked by a cerulean. Where the fuck did you come from? The first time I watched it, I just started laughing my ass off. It just comes out of nowhere. No one saw this giant cerulean on the back of the stage. Just impeccable timing. And then Peppa Poo finally arrives. I expected them to beat the cerulean, just like the book says, to go with the narration of the play. But no, Servo and Caracol just beats it, and without even acknowledging what happened, they lead in directly into the show. It's so unnatural. It was a really bad transition. The show is good. They got the members of Peppa Poo to use motion tracksuits and perform the song to be implemented on the episode. And let's be honest, This is the only way we could have made this look good, but it's also the best way we could have made it. It's really wild how just a simple mouth animation can make this look so much more natural. I love how the stage got dark and we show shots of the literal afternoon sky. So the show was a success and all was nice and dandy, but Kyururu finally gets caught by the detectives. 7% love it, 17% in between, 76% hate it. That's much better. On episode 9, we finally get to see who is the friend who has been searching for Kyururu this whole time.
あなた、人ですね。君は、私は、家犬です。会いたかった。
Episode 9 might be the best episode of the season because of this character. She has an energy not yet seen on this show. We all know that humans disappear from the park, but she had been waiting this whole time to see one again.
待ちますよ。待つのは慣れているので。
And she just explodes in happiness to see Kyururu. Apparently Kaban doesn't fit the bill because she's not really human as much as she is a double human.
パーク中探したけど、君しかいなかったもんね。そんなことない。カバンさんって人もいたよ。おお、博士たちと一緒にいる方ですね。あの子とは違うんだってさ。
And apparently Kyururu's an actual human? Go figure. Holy shit, Kyururu's neck's fucking broken. It's like the last episode where just looking at this character gives you contagious feelings. Except this time we're positive. She's playing with Kyururu and she's having the time of her life. She's like a beam of happiness like I never saw. It's really heartwarming. But still, it got very noticeable on this episode and a few early ones that the animation quality has dipped quite a lot. I want to talk about the studio now. The studio responsible for the production of the show is Studio Thomason, and I really don't think we were prepared for this. The thing about Studio Thomason is that they've done a lot of CG work for the most varied things, and even done some anime, but nothing like Kemono Friends 2, in the sense that it's a fully 3D CG animated show. On May 15, they had a recruitment notice on their website for people who knew how to do 3D CG, and on November 4th, they had an urgent notice on their front page, recruiting people who knew how to use 3ds Max. At that point, there was only a little over 2 months until the show started airing, and that notice stayed there until the show finished airing. So how do you cover your bases? You outsource the animation, everybody does it, fine. Let's just say they vary greatly in quality.
10 past 16, 21.
You stupid.
But animation wise, I don't really see anything that looks KF too bad to me. And they even got a studio that work on really big projects. I don't know what they did there, but they claim to be part of it, so at this point, I really believe the issues presented in the animation are production issues that happened within Thomason. I'm also not saying season 1 was high art animation, because it wasn't. But when you have a tight team and the process is done in-house, you get to not only learn about the show, but you feel like you get to know the creators a little bit. Like I said, not high art animation, as exemplified by the many shots of the characters leaning forward. But you start to understand, they do it like this. You start getting acquainted. Now season 2, you're juggling subcontracted studios and contracted people. It all becomes really unfocused, and the end product really feels they just went through the motions, and there is nothing unique to it, besides animation issues. Competent? Yeah. Lack of resources? Absolutely. Rushed? I also believe so. But here's the thing, they received the call to make Kemono Friends 2. A big studio, a mid-sized studio, they're packed to the brim with work for years. And they wouldn't even come close to something like Kemono Friends. We all know the controversy. We all know the story. But what about an unknown studio in the industry? What do you have to lose? It is fuel controversy, but it's also one of the biggest shows of 2017. And when such opportunity is presented to you, you go for the jugular. Everybody's hungry. I can't trash talk the product. I absolutely can. I cannot believe this is the sequel of Kemono Friends. But I cannot in any way look down on them for going for it. Whoa! Episode 9 might not be the best episode of the season after all. So Servo and Karakao are searching for Kururu and they come across the detectives. They demand them to bring them to Kururu. And they're like, oh, you're hiring us? Hell yeah! They're not really allied with Dog, they just want something to do. I love them. Problem starts when they finally meet and Kururu is playing with Dog. Karakao gets angry because she was worried about him, but he's just playing around and taking things too lightly. And then Kururu gets mad at Karakao, saying it wasn't his fault that he got kidnapped. Look, in an interview, they said their objective with the show was to be healing. I'm not really feeling healed. I can see how this could build up to me feeling healed, but now I'm just feeling kinda annoyed that this is happening in the first place. Dog apologizes for causing the conflict, but also says that now that Kururu is home,
でもおかげであの子も無事にお家に帰ることができました。
or at least the place she believes is home.
仲間と一緒にお家を探しているところだったんだ。お家？あ、お家っていうのは人が住むところですよね。ここがお家？ここはずっと昔何人もの人がいたんです。
Kururu's journey is over, and so they part ways. But on the way out, Karakao's like, I don't care, and Servo's like, oh, you don't? And so she gets Karakao to show some dere on that soon, and to go back to see Kururu on the pretense of giving him back his stuff.
届けなきゃ。私も行く。でもさっき顔も見たくないって。
Why is Servo being used as the perceptive character? So Servo is eternally happy, she's now clever, she's strong. Like in episode 5, she and Karakao beat 2 crocodiles and 2 leopards. Servo cats and Karakaos really aren't either big or strong animals. They hunt birds and small rodents. Okay, turns out I was wrong about Karakaos. They do hunt animals that are bigger than them, but still, there's no way in hell they're stronger than the animal that climb up trees while holding prey heavier than them. She also saves the day all the time. Sometimes they're having trouble, but then this song starts playing. Ta ta ta, and then Servo just punches the cerulean and the day's saved. It's like up in the sky, it's a bird, it's a plane, it's Servo! I honestly hate this song. On season 2 she has a nothing personality, but she's still too good for no reason. It's kinda baffling. Remember season 1? Remember? She beat one cerulean because it was small.
ゲートにもちょっと大きいのがいるそうよ。気をつけるんですのよ。じゃあ私がやっつけちゃうよ。サーバルがですの？心配ですわ。大丈夫だよ。さっきもやっつけたもん。どうせ小さいやつですわ。なんでわかったの？
And another one with the help of Kaban and Hippo. And then she ran away. She ran away. She couldn't do anything towards one and was powerless against the last one. The Servo that I like, she's kind of a dumbass. She has a personality that goes way beyond smiling. She's actually constantly the butt of the joke and is a slapstick character. She's far from perfect or being helpful at all most of the time, but she's not a bad girl. I guess the term I could use would be she wasn't the most capable, but that made things more fun. Episode 9 might be the worst episode of this season. The beast comes back and they hear her roar. Kururu thinks Servo and Karakao might be in danger and goes out to warn them. If he paid any attention to the time they spent together, he will know they have much better hearing than he does. If he can hear it, they can hear it. Oh, what a fucking surprise, you dumb shit. And then, what the fuck? What the fuck? Why? Why is this little button of sunshine and rainbows covered in wounds and dirt? She almost fucking dies. What is this? So Karakao and Servo comes just in time, and Servo scares the beast away just by doing a wild release. It's like a power-up on the original game. So Dog is now on the ground despite her being standing up on the last scene she was. This is a really weird scene. Dog decides to leave him alone because she realizes that she shouldn't stand in between their friendship. She understands the pain of losing it. And that's not the weird part. The weird part is that Kururu diverts his attention entirely to Servo. And not showing any concern for Dog after she got beat up protecting him. That's an unbelievable display of lack of empathy and lack of gratitude. It definitely isn't on purpose. I wouldn't believe it meant it. But this was a really bad portrayal for the character. I hate this. She didn't deserve any of this. I'm gonna give you the scores already. 3% love it, 0.8% like it, 1.7% neutral, 3.4% dislike it, 91.1% hate it. They gave us the most lovely character and just destroyed her on screen, physically and emotionally. She goes back to her house to wait for another human that might not come. Season 1 didn't have humans, and this is a sequel. How long has she been waiting? So this is a pretty obvious attempt at a bittersweet story using Hachiko as a motif. The dog who waited almost 10 years at Shibuya's train station for his dead owner to come back. The problem is that, in this version, the owner does come back in a way, but with new companions. A stray animal attacks the owner, and the dog ends up beaten up and then is left behind, awaiting for someone else who they could call an owner. Someone else who may not ever become to exist. She got what she dreamed for so long, and she lost it immediately. They tried for a bittersweet story, but they just made it bitter. Come with us. That's it. That's the line. Integrate her in the group. It would have been extremely cathartic. I am shocked this isn't what happened. Kururu didn't even drink the tea she made. Fuck! She was making that since episode 3. What a big punch in the nuts this episode was, dude. The episode ends with these mysterious friends lurking. Now, I gave you the episode scores already, and they're dreadful. But the score was so bad, it brought up a new possibility. Kemono Friends 2 episode 9 has passed several episodes of Osama Game the Animation, episode 6 of Badoom! That showed only a black screen because of broadcasting errors, and several episodes of Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc V to become the second least liked and the third most hated episode in Nico Nico history. Only behind 2 other Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc V episodes. Kemono Friends 2 might take the throne of infamy. Episode 10 starts with them searching for his sketchbook that Karakao dropped. Did you forget you almost lost your life? I almost died because I walk alone the forest. Now let me go walk alone the forest again, you fucking dumb shit. Kururu meets the lurking friends that appeared before. That's right. We appear in episode 5 for a total of 16 frames. What, you don't remember that? Don't remember that? They are birds of paradise. Rare birds mostly seen in the island of New Guinea. You might have seen one of them before, in the form of the dabbing bird. Dab. Oh, fuck off, dude. Oh my god. Oh no. Their role on the show is to be cryptic.
お前はなぜお家に帰りたいのだ。お家に帰ったところでどうなる。そこには僕にとって大事な、なんかすごく大切なものがあった気がする。果たして本当にそうか。もともとそんなものないのかもしれんぞ。あるいはあったが消されたのかも。いずれにしろ何もないなら振り返る必要もない。後ろに道がないなら前に進むしかなかろう。前に。
The cryptic birds leave and another bird comes to the scene. The passenger pigeon. She's a little bit creepy because of her empty eyes. But that's just a design choice for friends that are based in already extinct animals. For example, the Hokkaido wolf on the game, who had a bounty of 100 nuts on her head, just like the real wolf had when it was hunted to extinction. The dodo on the game, who was a sweetheart who believed there was no such thing as a bad person in the world. Just like the real thing when they got hunted to extinction. The Japanese river otter, who remembers the time she had friends, and then she didn't, because they got hunted to extinction. The Tasmanian tiger, whose dream is to have a lot of children. Except it didn't work out. Another example is Kaban in season 1, when she talks to the owls and they tell her that humans were extinct. And if you look closely, the light in her eyes slowly starts disappearing. But it comes back after they tell her they're not sure about it. This was all just an excuse for me to talk about season 1 again. Passenger Pigeon thinks she knows the location of the next drawing, and so they head to the Japari Hotel.
Let's go to heaven.
We meet 3 new friends. Bat-eared Fox, who is proper and stern. Okinawan Habu, who's the exact opposite and has a bad personality because she's a poisonous snake. The relationship is kinda like, it has that kind of energy. You know what I'm talking about? And Domestic Pig. The joke is that she's a pig but she likes to clean stuff. Apparently pigs are very clean animals. She's a good girl. Together they run the Japari Hotel. And because of the passage of time, the hotel is mostly underwater.
Attention please.
So they stay on the hotel, they play on the hotel, and check out the Habu Hotel's souvenir shop. It's quite an interesting scene on its own. The shop has several friends plushies. There are several of Karakao, and according to Habu,
俺のはまだいっぱいあるよ。一つどう？いえ、結構です。
but not many panda plushies, and even less red panda ones. The number of plushies directly correlates with the IUCN Red List of Threatened Species, which categorizes the vulnerability of a species and the risk of it going extinct. The passenger pigeon is a very important character in the sense that it's the first and only extinct friend on season 2.
私のはないんですかね。ないみたいだね。そうですか。旅のお供にもらっていこうかと思ったのに、残念です。そんなに欲しかったの？ええ、昔はよく団体で旅をしてたものですから。一人旅は寂しくて。
Passenger Pigeon later sees that Kururu has met friends along the way and gave them a drawing. Since there was no plushies of her, she requests a drawing as a souvenir to accompany her on her trips, to which Kururu gladly agrees to do. And it's around this time that trouble starts looming, which leads to...
誰を探してほしいって？だからさっき言ったのだ。私たちにそっくりな何かだよ。
Oh my god, it's them, dude! They finally appeared! So Raccoon and Fennec are requesting the detective works because the park is in danger. And goddamn, this is the perfect time to talk about the opening. Noteke Japari Beat is the opening of Kemono Friends 2. They brought back Masayoshi Oishi to produce the song, and I think he delivered again. It's very enthusiastic, it's very fun, and then there's the moment it goes like, oh, welcome to Japari Story, and suddenly it feels like I'm watching a parade, dude. So yeah, I think the song is great. I don't think the opening is good. The reason as to why it took me this long to talk about it is because... So you understand that at this point it took them 10 episodes to present those characters in specific. There's also a segment for Triple P, and they have their own episode, but that's also just it. This is a good Kemono Friends song, as in the franchise Kemono Friends, but this is not a fitting Kemono Friends 2 song. And the visual portion of the opening, besides the rotating servo, I think everything is very uninspired. Season 1 had a segment every episode where you would see what friends are going to appear in the next episodes, which makes you kinda excited to see how they're going to be. Season 2 doesn't do that, and they didn't have to, but they have the perfect segment for that. There is this scene where they show Dolphin and Sea Lion, and they show it on the next episode, and on the next one, and again, and it's such a missed opportunity. The opening really doesn't do anything interesting. Back to season 1. I really like season 1. There is this corridor segment where they just pan the picture up, where friends you had seen in earlier episodes would appear again, and eventually you see that all of them are pulling this rope. I've honestly seen two interpretations of this rope. The first one comes from Kaban jumping into the cerulean tied in rope to save Servo, and then the friends come to save Kaban in a metaphorical rope pulling, and the other one is a visual representation of the friends coming together to fix the bus that got wrecked during the cerulean fight. It's one or the other. I believe it's the bus one because of Silver Fox's mannerisms on the opening. It's like she's directing everyone on what to do. Season 2 has walking, running, inside bus 2, floating music stuff. It's all fluff. Okay, so I forgot to record this part. I really like this scene because Arma and Sen are actually voiced by the same voice actresses as Raccoon and Fennec. So the scenes them pretty much talking to themselves. And this is Sakyono stealing her own famous line. The problem now is that they are cerulean, with the shape of friends appearing throughout the park, which are caused by ceruleum coming in contact with Kururu's drawings. Apparently because there are feelings of attachment on those drawings, and ceruleum is attracted to it, and so they take the form of that affection, which seems to be bringing back a concept from the main game called Sparkle, which in a TLDR feels Goodman energy. Now this is when it gets a bit worrying. There's pretty much 2.5 episodes left, and they just introduced another problem that needs closure. Kururu finding his home, the sea ship that's likely a cerulean, the Amur tiger going around causing trouble, identifying what those cryptic bird friends are, and now dealing with ceruleans that look like friends that comes from Kururu's drawings. So, a group is formed to find Kururu and stop him from making new drawings. So Kururu finishes the drawing for Passenger Pigeon, and this one features literally every friend Kururu has met. Oh boy! Kururu asks if Passenger Pigeon has ever seen a human, but she says she doesn't think she ever did. And that makes Kururu wonder if there's any real meaning to his quest, if his house even exists. So he goes to the most dangerous place possible, for absolutely no reason. And then he gets mad at Servo, for absolutely no reason. And then he falls into the sea. The reason being he's a dumb shit that went to the most dangerous place imaginable to soak. And that's the end of the episode. Not a bad episode at all. And the scores kinda reflect that. 5% love it, 15% in between, and 80% hate it. It's not a great improvement, but it's also not the worst episode in Nico history. Though at this point the score got better probably because they threw Kururu off a cliff. Episode 11 starts with Kururu underwater and the cryptic birds appear again. And considering they're birds and they shouldn't be underwater, we can imply they're just Kururu's hallucinations. They laugh at Kururu and then fuck off. I'll be more specific later, okay? So I played myself here because I had this weird expectation that Caracal was going to save Kururu. Kururu fell into the sea and Caracal senses that. Like, she just senses it? And I thought she would jump into the water and save him. Because they showed that she's scared of water and facing that fear to save him would be pretty meaningful. Kinda like on season 1. Okay, I gotta stop doing that. I'm not gonna stop doing that. When Servo throws the burning paper plane to distract the big dog Cerulean, when she's shown twice on the show, she's afraid of fire. No, No, Kiruru is rescued by Dolphin and Sea Lion, who are called to the hotel and just happen to see Kiruru falling into the sea. Now every friend that met Kiruru is being called to the hotel.
それに我々にそっくりなあのセルリアンは攻撃の仕方まで似ているためおそらく同等のパワーを持つフレンズでないと倒せないのです。
Holy shit, they're doing Pokemon Mewtwo Strikes Back. I said Mewtwo Strikes Back. I did not say Pokemon 2000 the movie. Oh, it's been 20 years already. Oh, fuck me, dude. So Kiruru learns about the French ceruleans and then remembers, I kinda made a drawing that features everyone. So he rushes to get to Passenger Pigeon. So in the meantime, the ship cerulean appear. What the fuck is this? Are you sure about that? The ship Cerulean breaks the windows with some supersonic whatever, and the hotel starts flooding. And there's ceruleum in the water. The supersonic thing affects Pigeon and Bat-eared Fox, but doesn't affect Caracal or Servo, both of which have sensitive hearing. Remember Zizzleman? Where Servo gets disorientated by hearing Toki's song, Passenger Pigeon runs away from her room, but leaves the drawing behind. Oh, that was a gift dude, just gonna leave it there? And the ceruleum gets to it. And now the hotel is infested with French-shaped ceruleans. Wow, what a surprise. So everyone is having trouble until the rescue group comes to scene. Oh hey, that looked pretty good. Oh, look at this! One of the big cats attacked using her... I said claw, I did not say paw. Finally doing things right!
そしてロードランナー様もな
Ah! It's Bird! Bird is here, guys! Guys, it's Bird! Do something funny, Bird!
おいなんだよその反応
That's funny, thank you, Bird! Okay, so what happened to all that? Only a friend can beat their cerulean counterpart thing. So everyone is now doing well, the hotel trio is happy, there's a bunch of people in the hotel, and the episode ends with Kiruru is still searching for Passenger Pigeon. Also not a bad episode. Honestly, one of the best ones of the show, but they don't really solve any of the problems, which makes things even more concerning. There's also the things about how and why Kiruru is a human that suddenly appeared in the park. That wasn't addressed. And this tower that appeared on the promotional poster, on the show a few times, on the cover for the soundtrack, and on the new Type magazine promotion. Oh hey look, it's almost as if Kaban is the main character along with Servo. This hurts, wow. The tower looks important, but what is it? Still, a good episode. I think this is the only episode I left with the show instead of at the show. And the scores for the episode do not reflect that. Wow, that was fun. So, I was surprised about the scores, but at this point it was too late. People were already dead set on making Kemono Friends 2 the most hated anime in Nico history. 2.9% love it, 0.6% thought it was fine, 1.8% neutral, 3.4% dislike it, 91.3% hate. Episode 11 takes the spot of episode 9, but it still does not become the most hated episode in Nico history. There's one more episode to go. Episode 12 starts with the hotel starting to sink, and with risk of collapsing. So Kaban comes and tells them to fuck out of there. The sea animals tell the underwater volcano is growing even more active, and they still haven't found Kiruru in the drawing. Just saying. Just saying. If we're going to set up all of this mood of dread, and that shit's about to go down, don't play your opening. Don't play your opening. Do not play your exciting, cheerful opening. You're only destroying the atmosphere that you built. So we come back from the opening to a more serious atmosphere when Kiruru meets with Passenger Pigeon, who has been following her cerulean counterpart. She approaches the cerulean even though she's aware it is one.
この子がセルリアンと分かっていてもなんだか仲間のことを思い出しちゃってごめんなさいこんなこと意味がないって分かってるのに
Let's talk about the passenger pigeon. The passenger pigeon was a bird found in North America. Its population size is believed to have been stable for 20,000 years at least 3 billion birds. To put into perspective, the current most numerous bird at the moment is the red-billed killia, at an estimate of 1.5 billion birds at post-breeding period. The year is 1800. The bird is a great source of food and very easy to hunt, as they were very numerous, to the point the flocks were so dense they would darken the sky. As told by American naturalist John James Audubon, the air was literally filled with pigeons. The light of noonday was obscured as by an eclipse. Boom, 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 boom. Your slavery is fucking bad. How about you go fuck yourself? It's a civil war. And with the civil war came the advance of two major pieces of technology: railroads and telegraphs. With telegraphs, you can easily follow the flocks through the continent, and with railroads, you can easily ship the meat across the country. And now the hunt for the bird exponentially increased. The pigeon was hunted for meat, the pigeon was hunted for sport, and the pigeon was even hunted in its own nesting grounds. In one single century, the wild pigeon, formerly in flocks of millions, has entirely disappeared from the face of the earth. The cerulean attacks them, and Servo and Caracal comes to save the day. They do this stupid punch thing again, and they play this fucking annoying song again. Every friend gets together and Kiruru's like, "You aren't alone, Passenger Pigeon, look, everyone is here." And she's now happy, and everyone's happy. And then the owls are like, "Are you all fucking blind?" The friends fight the ceruleans. Kiro, Servo, Call find the drawing. Oh no, it's Tiger Cerulean. Ta ta ta! And she uses her paw this time. Good job, I guess. They come back with the drawing, but now there are Servo and Caracal Ceruleans. And apparently they're stronger because Kururu is more attached to them. So they tell Kururu to go somewhere safe with the drawing. Huh? That reaction sounds about right. What is this? What is this meant to be? I know this is a reference to the first episode, but what is the point of this? What is the point of the scene? Independency? Is it meant to represent some sort of growth of the character? You mean just like how they did in episode 1 of Zizuma? When Kaban is asked by Hippo. And she just gets more depressed, only to do every of those things the best she can to save Servo inside the cerulean. If it's something similar to that, this is pathetic. This is actually pathetic. Why are they let him go alone? They don't know if all the remaining ceruleans are on the roof. So while the friends are fighting the very dangerous ceruleans, he gets to the boat safely and starts blaming himself for the whole thing. And that's when the cryptic birds appear once again. Now, did you know that these birds are the new idol duo they were trying to promote? Known as Gothic X Luck, they sang the two endings of the show. It's such an incredible shame their introduction in this franchise is like, "Do you understand? It's all in your head." Of a character that people don't even like, on the sequel people hate, only to say enigmatic stuff. It doesn't really paint a good image. I don't even know if it paints an image. This was their last appearance, by the way. They questioned Kiruru one last time about his journey and why he drew the drawings. Where the fuck did you come from? This is a boat in the middle of the sea!
あとは好きにするがいい。キルルちゃん、こっち。私たちに乗ってください。カバンさん、このままホテルに戻ってください。お願い。
So it was on this scene that I understood what we are trying to do this whole show. Going back to episode 5 called The Power of Humans, you have the leopards and crocodiles calling humans scary. They even call Servo and Caracal servants several times.
心配なら手下も連れてこい。
いや、手下じゃないけど。
人目、これほど強い連中を手下にするとは。
だから手下じゃないってば。
Animals used for entertainment. Animals that grew to fear. Animals that got domesticated, dominated, and animals that disappeared. These are all caused by humans. And well, Kyururu a human. Can Kyururu truly befriend animals? Can Kyururu really reach an understanding with them if he's in this position where he's superior to them? By refusing to ride on Dolphin and Sea Lion for safety and asking to turn the boat back to the hotel, Kyururu refuses to use the animal as a tool to deal with his problem. Pretty much rejecting the power dynamics we currently understand of humans and animals, and he places himself as equal for the sake of befriending the inhabitants of Japari Park. So Kyururu takes the tiger back to the hotel, lets her deal with the ceruleans, and leaves her to die as the hotel crumbles, ultimately using the animal as a tool to deal with his problems. What happened? How did this happen? 3 minutes. A 3-minute scene was enough to destroy everything you claim to stand up for. 3 minutes was enough to destroy everything you beat up on this whole show. 3 minutes! Turn your entire characterization moot! It's so worthless now. First of all, what offed Amor Tiger was the debris of the ceiling of the rooftop falling on her. Where's the Chicken Little friend? He was right, the sky's falling! Second of all, after the hotel crumbles, they decide to host a Peppa Poo show on top of the fallen heliport. Quite literally, meaning they are going to dance on her grave. I don't even get. What was the point of having this beast, Amur Tiger, in the show? Did you just wanted to introduce the idea of genetic mutation? But it's kind of fine, actually. She saved our lives, then she almost took our lives, then she almost took our lives, then she saved our lives, and then she lost her lives. She's definitely dead, because they foreshadowed that on their Twitter. With 5 minutes left, I don't know how this could get any worse. It gets worse. So the last scene of the show is a direct interaction between Servo and Caban. And it's pretty much them saying their goodbyes to each other, in tears.
Servo still doesn't remember, by the way.
As Servo now joins Caracal and Kyururu's group to keep traveling. And after everything that happened, this feels insulting to watch.
キュルル、カラカル、サーバル、いいチームだと思う。本当？やったー！ねえ、私たちもそうだったかな？
And it gets worse. The song they used for this scene is Welcome to Yokoso Japari Park. The opening song of the first season. I hate it. I hate this. This is so bad. I am baffled how anyone thought this was a good idea. And people watching hated it as well. There's a video that showcases the live reaction of the Japanese audience live streaming on Nico Nico. Every red line is an angry comment. You know, if I had to do this, if I had to do all of this, they should at least use Boku no Friend, the ending song of season 1. Boku no Friend is literally a song about good friends parting ways while treasuring the feelings they harvested together. Well, at least one of them do now. And then it all closes with Kyururu claiming he found his home. It's here. with his friends. Wow, no one saw that coming. When the giant cerulean was starting to get even bigger because of the sand star discharged from the volcano. And Lucky's son was telling Kaban to head to safety because she was human, and Kaban delivers the line.
ラッキーさん、僕はお客さんじゃないよ。ここまでみんなにすごく助けてもらったんです。パークに何か起きてるなら、みんなのためにできることをしたい。
Practically saying, this is where she belongs. This is the same. It's the same, but with much more unlikable results. The post-credit scene is of Dog remembering of the past a long time ago. She also received a drawing of Kyururu from a long time ago. And she's still lonely. The end. Oh, by the way, the ship Cerulean is still fucking around and the volcanoes are still jizzing ceruleum. And surprise, fucking surprise. Try to guess how the finale of the show did in scores. With 2.6% love it and 95.3% hate it, Kemono Friends 2 episode 12 is now the least liked and the most hated episode in Nico history, taking the throne over Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc V's finale and cementing its position amongst infamy. But well, we're talking about the internet here. Kemono Friends 2 was the hot thing to hate, and this score might as well be the result of a bandwagon. But then there came the sales. As of March of 2018, Volume 1 of Season 1 had sold at least 40,800 units. Volume 1 of Kemono Friends 2 sold 458 units in its first week, selling a little over 1% of the total sales of Volume 1 of Season 1 as of March of 2018, and becoming the 6th worst selling Volume 1 of its season.
Let the bodies hit the floor, let the bodies hit the floor, let the bodies hit the floor, let the bodies hit the...
So something interesting happened after the show finished. There was this individual on Nico, known as Curse Bro, as his name was just a kanji for curse on repeat, who made videos that were very critical of Kemono Friends 2 and the people behind it. Maybe a little bit too critical, maybe a little bit too much. But right before the show ended, which coincided with the season finale of Kemono, he took down his videos, changed his name to the kanji of celebration, and started a movement called Kemono Friends R. A derivative interpretation of Kemono Friends 2 featuring a redesign of Kyururu called Tomoe, who is now a cheerful girl and is accompanied by a domestic dog. The main portrayal of the series is of R, standing for words like rebirth, reunion, and remember, which is a nod to the domestic dog subplot on Season 2, to which also becomes a movement to give justice to all the mistreated friends on the show, since the creator doesn't really mind how much you modify the setting, meaning it's very common to see Greater Roadrunner and Amur Tiger amongst the group as well. And this is actually rather interesting. I don't think I've ever seen something like this. I've seen OCs, yes, but not with such implications, because the more tasteful your portrayal is, the more lovely it is, the more fun it is, the more you end up ridiculing. Kemono Friends 2, I don't think I ever seen kindness as the biggest form of mockery before. Another interesting thing is the exact opposite of what I just said, is a 3-part theory that became really popular, where they say Kemono Friends 2 is a portrayal of hell, based on Dante's Divine Comedy, and that Kyururu is Lucifer. I don't think religious portrayals in Kemono Friends are that out of the park. Season 1 does have a human gaining knowledge of herself as a person in a library shaped as an apple with a tree growing inside of it, which represents the tree of knowledge. Except this one is kinda very clear. This one is just a big thought out shitpost. Every episode represents one of the circles of hell, and the friends are sinners in hell. I wish I could say more, but I don't understand what's being said in detail. Sorry. Part 1 has 912,000 views, as of 16th of December 2019, which is like 67,000 views away from episode 1 of season 2 on Nico. Okay, let's kill the immersion just for a second. It's the 5th of March of 2020, and what happened is that I checked Nico, and episode 1 of season 2 has 996,000 views, and part 1 of the Fury has 1,100,000 views. This joke didn't just pass views, it got to 1 million views before episode 1 of season 2 did. Oh look, it's Bird. The ending wasn't the only thing that caused a reaction. In June, 2 months after the end of Kemono Friends 2, there was an event focused on Kemono Friends, presenting new friends, redesigns, concept art, stuff related to the franchise in general. And it also expanded things regarding season 2. There's some pretty nice stuff in here, not gonna lie. Aw man, the horses lost their JRA logo. I wonder why. The first interesting thing is the confirmation that Kiruru is a boy, hence me calling him he throughout the video. Later it's explained how Kiruru is a human living in the current Japari Park. So as we saw, Kiruru was a visitor of Japari Park and was there when the Cerulean Queen attacked. So the Queen takes this kid. Come here, boy! Control C him, and what we saw on Kemono Friends 2 is a Control V of that kid. And that thing we saw in the beginning of the show, that Kiruru came out of, that was the Queen's ex. How is Kiruru human? That kinda makes the whole dog subplot weird to me. Domestic Dog didn't really think of Kaban as fulfilling the part of a human. Makes sense, I guess, since she's a human friend, not actually a human. But I don't get how Kiruru, born from the egg of the Cerulean Queen, is human. Apparently his heterochrome is caused by that too. There was an illustration showing the evolution of Kaban. She's becoming more and more like Mirai, since she's a friend born out of her hair, and that she's subconsciously stuck in Japari Park. This is probably a way for them to not have to work further with the character, but it's also taking away the character's individuality and pretty much saying her quest is uncompletable unless a human is in Japari Park. I'm not sure why they done the stage 1, since we don't ever see Kaban in such a form, and she was just born in season 1. There was also some information about the Gokoku area being infested by Cerulean. Which area is that again?
Lucky-san, 島が見えてきたよ。あの島にも名前ってあるのかな。母国エリアだね。フレンズがいる可能性があるね。
Well, I see you tried to do something with the character. That was a pretty rough way of handling it. And here's the interesting thing. This has happened before. So in the next on game, there's a character called Servo with a C. She's a Cerulean who took the shape of Servo, similarly to season 2, but with actual character. She starts as enemies, but eventually becomes friends with Servo, and that results in her producing her own Sparkle to become a friend, and she helps them beat the Cerulean Queen. Everyone was happy with her new friend, and the game ended there. But then season 1 came, the season that most of us love. The one that blew things up. What happened to the park? The one where game fans saw being saved with the effort of countless friends. It's now destroyed. What happened to the friends? They're not the same as before. What happened to Servo? Nowhere to be seen. Later shown at an art exhibition that she sacrificed herself to stop Cerulean from coming out of a volcano. And she's still there lying dormant, separating them off screen, their quest meaningless. It happened again, except in a much larger scale. I see that you're moving on from your past iteration, but doing so with tragedy is pretty hard to swallow. Director controversy aside, it's not surprising there wasn't backlash regarding Kaban and Servo portrayal in season 2. It was only a matter of when the franchise will become popular enough that there's going to be a backlash if you keep denying past fans of the happy times. I saw some people claiming that Kemono Friends 2 was a work of hate, a work of vengeance. There's a small side of me who believes that, but there's a bigger side of me who believes it was just handled poorly. Season 2 is rather childish. I would say season 1 can be rather childish, but it's still much more interesting to follow. Kaban She solves human problems. She builds bridges. She helps managing business. She teaches teamwork. She solves wars. She teaches the resolve of conflict throughout non-violent competition. And there's the cooking. She makes curry. And then Kururu solves problems by playing around. Playing around. Playing around. Playing around. It's a kid doing kid things, and that makes the show very infantile. But when the darker stuff comes, the contrast is huge. Friends dying on screen? The scene where every friend saves Kaban and she comes back against all odds. Maybe season 2 was right. All is well when it ends well. But then you have Tiger being crushed by the building and all didn't really end up well. It's a weird contrast too, because it's clear that season 2 tries to be more child-friendly, and yet season 2 manages to be dark in comparison. Season 1 apparently had a graphic death planned to be on screen on episode 1. When Servo hears a friend screaming and heads the Cerulean, apparently was planned for the Cerulean to be defeated and them to be too late to save Aardwolf, as shown on this picture on the CG World magazine, in what I like to call the most powerful Kemono Friends picture. T-posing Servo and T-posing Kaban is standing in front of a half-consumed dying Aardwolf, who also T-poses. That would have been very dark, but it didn't happen in such a gruesome way, either for lack of runtime or, well, because it's gruesome, the power imbalance of humans and animals. Rampaging tiger that ended up dying, this fucking thing. You know what I think? This is very Kemono, but not very Friends. But that's also the thing. Kemono Friends is mainly about the animals. Nature's fucked up and humanity is a horrible stuff. You don't come up with storylines like that if you don't care about the product. You don't come up with stories like on episode 4 or episode 7 if you don't care about the product. But they put too much emphasis on it, on the Kemono. I'm gonna be honest, a lot of the show felt like it was just characters screaming at each other. Like I said, not very Friends, it gets unpleasant to watch. Then there's the whole Kaban and Servo subplot. Kaban at this point, she's a very important character. Were they just going to keep an open end regarding her storyline? They should have done that. They should have done that. They should have done that. But to be honest, I'm only saying that because I know the result. This is only what I wish for. You can't just leave such a character in an existential limbo. Not along the face of the franchise you can't. You gotta use her for the next iteration. There's a million ways they could have handled this better. But they didn't. And at this point, is it really worth sticking to what it could have been rather than what it is? Is what I say after spending months in a long video about this. Maybe I am the vindictive character. It's not only how season 2 was handled. This feeling has been lingering since September 25 of 2017. It was 9 months, 9 magical months, where this franchise went from nothing to the next big thing. I honestly believed Kemono Friends could have become as big a franchise as something like Toho or Kantai Collection, maybe even bigger. Knowing animals is just common knowledge. Japanese folklore and warships don't quite have the same range of recognition. But now, I don't think that's happening. The controversy was just too much, and what followed was just kicking the franchise when it was down. There's not really anything that can be done. But apparently Zune, creator of Toho Project, said in a livestream that the 7th and latest game, Wily Beast and Weakest Creature, was based on the whole Kemono Friends 2 thing.
奇形獣のコンセプトはこうしようと決めた瞬間はどんなところですか？お子さんと遊んでた時でもいいですし、旅行してた時でも。内容はね、あんまり言えないことが多いです。そうなの。ペット飼いたい話と関係あるの？強いてはやっぱりね、獣フレンズの人気にあやかって。マジで？獣フレだって今。獣フレ2の人気あるんだ。いや、ある意味人気あるコンテンツですよね、獣フレ2は。
So in a way, it did become the next Toho. You might have realized that I'm not really that angry. It's been a few months already, I saw the reaction. Everybody shared on this side of the wall. It was a lot. And on the other side of the wall, everything went great. So I'm gonna talk a little bit about the people who work on Kemono Friends too now. Yoshizaki Mine, IP owner and the big boss. You still haven't said anything since September 22 of 2017. I wonder if he's still alive. Well, he is, I think. He's still working on Kemono Friends and on other things as well. Or maybe just someone who draws like him. And he's that for real? His online presence just disappeared. To be or not to be, that is the question. Kimura Ryuichi. I had good expectations for him, because I heard good things about Aikatsu. He didn't deliver. He really didn't. But to be honest, the bar was really high. The relationship he had with fans was really rough. He also blocked a lot of people. And well, when you have 95% of your audience hating your show and ridiculing you, it's hard to handle. Looks really hard to handle. Nobuyuki Hosoya. So Hosoya is a representative of TV Tokyo and a producer of Season 2 as well as Season 1. That means he's also one of the people responsible for firing Tatsuki and then put Kimura as a director, someone who he worked with before many times. And I really can't help but to feel something funky happened there. And lastly but not least, he went on Twitter and actually confronted people over the backlash.
頭悪いだけじゃないですかねその儲けたいとかじゃなくて単純に頭が悪くてファンは煽ってるっていうだけなんじゃないでしょうか。はい。
Look, I don't care if he tries to defend his work, his product, regardless of whatever he did as a producer, but he's not representing himself. He is, one, representing the franchise, and what good does he do to fight the fans? And two, he represents TV Tokyo, so surprise, he got removed from his position. TV Tokyo released a statement apologizing on his behalf, and his name was removed on One Punch Man Season 2, the Pokemon anime, the Pokemon movie Mewtwo Strikes Back, and Aikatsu Friends. And, well, he hasn't tweeted since April, so I guess that's that. I'm sure there's a lot that could be said about these people. I do know there's a lot of digging done, but I'm not interested anymore. Now I just see this Kemono Friends 2 as a very interesting stain in the industry. But I don't want Kemono Friends to keep going astray. I actually would like it for it to keep going on. I don't even know if this angle is right. And that seems to be the case. Time heals all wounds. Probably. Kemono Friends 3 released as a new mobile game / arcade game, and it looks lovely. The people in Sega that are responsible for this project, they're carrying a lot of weight, and I don't think they're doing a bad job at all. So what do you think about the game? I haven't checked it. I hate using my phone. My bad. They're also releasing short animations using in-game models. They're not impressive, but even in its simplicity, they're pretty lovely. And they seem to be expanding the lore prior to Season 1. There's also this American blondie called Kalenda. And in America, everything is bigger. She's a bit...
Did you know the United States also has the eagle, the bald eagle, to represent its awesome, majestic looks? Amazing! Do you think it look good on me?
Her character's a bit too much for me to handle. Well, her voice actress handle on Twitter is Kyoka Loves Anime. Oh shit, she used to work for Tokyo Taku Mode. And now she's a voice actress. Good stuff. Do or Diho, I don't know how to pronounce that. She seems to be taking a major role in Kemono Friends 3. Here's some footage of her voice actress breaking some tiles. The game just recently got 1 million downloads, so it seems to be doing fine. I believe right now Kemono Friends is more than the fleeting dream and the nightmare that followed it. Its current shape was definitely molded by it. Lots of people abandoned it because they love one part of it, but others stuck around because there are still things they love about the series. And I think that's fine. As long as people enjoy something, I think it's fine to be there. Well, it's time to stop talking about Kemono Friends. This went on for too long, things got pretty bitter, and I don't like my coffee black. Ah yes, this is my home. It was made for me. This is where I belong. You. I don't think I'll be seeing you any soon. I guess I'm not much of a fan if I'm not interested in your mixed media shenanigans. You're going to see me playing a gacha game over my dead body on my deathbed, but I will remember you fondly. And you. See you on the other side. Hey, I'm dead, I have died on the end of the video, I just kinda felt my death, and this is Ghost Voice talking now. I want to talk about the Kemono Friends 2 manga that I haven't talked about on the video. At least I think I didn't, I don't remember, I haven't touched this in a year. Despite saying that I made no modifications on the video, this segment's the only changes I made it, I mean it. This is going to be rushed, because this is a re-recording of a last minute edition from a year ago. I had a lot of time to work on this, but I just kinda... It's Thursday night now, and I want to release this on Friday, alright? So first of all, the artist is fantastic. Love how expressive their characters are, both facial and body expressions. And if you come from the stiff characters from the anime, it's a world's difference. The last cerulean looks like a motherfucker. I mean it when I say the artist is fantastic. It started releasing alongside the anime, and of course, the manga took longer to release. So I'm not sure if they saw the reception of the anime and modified it accordingly, or if this is just the author's style to make stories. But the writing is goddamn lovely. Friends are less belligerent, negative conflicts are twisted to be softened up, everyone acts friendly and eager, some dumb details from the show are fixed. Karaka's developing relationship with Kururu is very apparent in this manga. I'm going to give some specific examples on how it changes. Arma and Sen don't kidnap Kururu, they all head to Dog's house and have fun together. Karakao doesn't leave because of a quarrel or some sort of fight. She goes because she understands she has to leave him, eventually, when he finds his home. And it's shown again and again throughout the series that she kinda has this internal conflict. The one who attacks them is a cerulean. Dog does end up getting beat up. But then Kururu, despite being scared, still tries to rescue her. And then Karakao comes fucking pissed, and you read this and go, hell yeah dude, hell yeah. And they all leave in good terms after everything ends. The Servo Kaban thing is handled with much more care. The dog thing is handled with much more care. The Amur Tiger thing is handled with much more care. Kururu's character development is handled with much more care. Bird is still a piece of shit, I'm glad they kept that. And by the end of the series, Domestic Dog is well. Amur Tiger is well. And Servo Kaban are apparently not fully separated. I don't think Kaban cried once in this manga. She was actually extremely happy. In a way, it's pretty weird to see it so strongly rejecting the writing of the show. But it works. It works. A lot of people got angry at Kemono Friends 2 and the people behind it, as I shown in this video. A lot of what I said, I grew to disagree, and a lot I still agree with. But I have nothing against this manga. It doesn't matter if it's quote-unquote Kemono Friends 2. This was just a treat to read. And it seems that the people who read it, despite where they were coming from, fans or haters, they have a very positive stance towards it. The Amazon reviews are overwhelmingly positive. It's like upper 90% positive. It really did felt like everything was handled with more care. And in a way, reading this coming from the show and having the time to let the steam off, it's just soothing. It's just soothing. I just really like it. And I would recommend you to read it. And you might be asking, what the fuck? Where is the you that I saw in the video? I think I acted pretty angry on that video. It's been 2 years. It's been a long time. I don't really care that much anymore. But I do still find everything that happened around it interesting. But if you still dislike the idea of Kemono Friends 2, I of course have something else to recommend. Kemono Friends World Series by Quick Wiper. If you hear some sounds, that's my cat playing with some string. This is a very interesting project. It started in 2018 and it's still going on. Quick Wiper is releasing in manga form episodes that continues directly from the end of the first series as an unofficial fan sequel, and he tries to mimic both the art style and the writing of the show. To incredible results. Reading these really felt like watching an episode of Kemono Friends. If you haven't read this, I highly recommend it. My favorite part is part 16, the one on the abandoned building. I love it. It's really fun, it's really good. There's actually one more manga series that I want to recommend now that I'm at it. Just a little extra bonus if you're still listening for some goddamn reason. Don't you have better things to do with your time. It's called Arai-san Mansion by Abubu. I don't really know well how to explain this series, since I don't really read too much stuff like this, but I saw it described as new weird. So our lovely raccoon and Fennec move to an apartment, but that apartment complex is filled with deadly and grotesque creatures. Every floor is a trap, people who live there are fucking weird, and it's just really interesting to learn about this place. I think it could somewhat be compared to the SCP Foundation thing. But I just want to say something. The latest story that Abubu released for this series, it was a bit horrifying, yes. It was a bit bizarre, yes. And it was intriguing, as this whole series is. But it was also beautiful. It was beautiful visually. It had this weird, melancholic, heartwarming feeling that you get from things like Girls Last Tour. I had a huge smile on my face reading this. And not in the sense of, wow, I can't believe that happened, dude, that's fucked. But in the sense of, this kind of feels like food for the heart. Before this story released, I was already hooked on this series, but at this point I'm just impressed by it. And I can't wait to see more of it. And I would really strongly recommend you to at least take a look at it. Well, that's it for Kemono Friends. The next video is obviously about Kemurikusa, so I hope you look forward to that. And my favorite friend is Tsuchinoko. Bye bye.